It's time once again for the Maple Grove City Report. I'm Dave Kaiser from Northwest Community Television. Thanks for joining us. In the next half hour, a look at what's new in the city of Maple Grove and a recap of the most recent council meeting. Stay with us. The Maple Grove City Report is up next. And thanks again for joining us on the Maple Grove City Report. Joining me, Al Madsen, City Administrator. Welcome, Al.
Thanks, Dave.
We have got a show today that's going to be 5 times longer than the council meeting itself. It was a 6-minute meeting that we'll talk about, and we'll get to that in just a few minutes. But as always, Al has a lot of information about what's happening in town. First item we want to touch on is Al and the city staff are looking for your input in a rather unique way. Tell us about the city survey.
Well, that's a community survey. We did a survey in 2008. We now are going to be doing another survey, so it'll be interesting to compare the statistics of 2013 with '08. The survey has about 18 questions. It'll be mailed out randomly to 1,200 residents. Before the survey actually gets in their hands, there will be a card that goes out to the 1,200 folks, alerting them that there is a survey coming.
Don't throw it away.
Right.
In the mail. Okay, good.
And then the survey will be sent out in 2 waves, so to speak. And so it'll be 1,200 randomly selected residents. And then the goal is to get at least 400. That's a 30% return, but anything beyond that is fantastic. So the goal is to get at least 400 returned. It'll give us a good indication as to how we're doing. And I think that's what this is all about. We want to know, we know areas that we're strong in, we know areas that we're weak in, but there could be areas where we're weak in and we, the residents need to alert us to that. So it gives us a good picture. It also gives us a good picture as to the makeup of the community. 5 years may not sound like a lot to people, but there can be a lot of change.
Sure.
And there's been a lot of change in our community in the last 5 years because the senior population has grown and the demand for senior housing is certainly greater today than it was 5 or even 10 years ago. So.
For those that get the survey, is this essay questions and are we graded, or is it something that we can go through rather quickly? I would guess it's a rather quick survey.
It is. It's essentially yes, no, or it's good, very good, not very good. I don't care.
Right.
Something like that. So no, it's a survey that can be filled out relatively quick and then mailed. There's an envelope that comes with it. Mailed back, and then the National Survey Company that's handling this for us will tabulate all the results like they did in '08 and provide a report to us, and then again we'll compare the two, and the areas that we need improvement, we will make the improvement.
So later on this year there'll be some talk about it, and I would guess if residents that participated in the survey or even didn't participate want results, website, come to a meeting, what would be the best way to find that out?
We will publish the results on our website.
Right.
We certainly will have a report that if somebody wants the report sent to them, we can do that. We'll have a summary of the report in the Osseo Maple Grove paper. I'll probably talk about it on my blog from time to time.
Okay.
So we'll get the word out as to here's the results of the survey, and again, if someone wants a copy of the full report, that's not a problem. We'll make that readily available.
Fantastic. So residents be watching for that. Again, a selected group's going to get that information, but everyone can obviously get the results as they come back.
Right.
Building update, you've got some statistics to pass along?
Well, right now we've issued 55 single-family building permits, which is, I think, a little higher than last year. This is just beginning of the year, so to speak, and the construction time. So I think we're going to see that, steadily pick up now that the weather, we hope,
yes,
is getting better. We've had 270 building permits to date, but that's folks that come in, maybe they want to do interior expansion, or they're coming in for maybe a permit to build a deck or put a new deck on in place of the old one, but getting prepared, for the springtime. And so I think we're going to see a good year. At least it's on track for that. So
We have talked in past programs about some of the larger buildings that will be coming to town. Tell us about those in the downtown or the Arbor Lakes area. What's happening with those? What's the time schedule?
well, the World Market certainly is under construction. They're doing a total facelift, inside and out. My sense of the opening for World Market is probably going to be sometime in June. They
Or
still
Whole
have-
Foods.
I'm sorry, Whole
Okay.
Foods. Whole Foods, you're right. Thank
Right,
you for
don't want to
correcting
get
me.
you ahead of yourself on that one. There'll
Right.
be people that'll be saying, no, wait a minute,
Wait a
Al
minute.
said that.
Right, yeah. Whole Foods.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for correcting me. Next to it is World Market. That's still vacant. Now, there will be parking issues. There's no doubt about that when Whole Foods opens. And people are going to have to probably adjust their shopping habits a little bit as far as
Right.
time. As we've talked about, Trader Joe's, people have adjusted their shopping time, and they know when not to shop, when the traffic is less. But the whole area there has got cross easements, and so, but nevertheless, yes, there will be some parking issues. But yeah, Whole Foods, I'm thinking probably in June that they will be opening. And World Market, though, still is being marketed. That's a large, vacant space. There was a reader of the Maple Grove Patch that tossed a suggestion out that tear down World Market and put up a parking ramp.
Okay.
Which is not a bad suggestion.
Sure, right.
However, the cost of taking down the building, and then we got parking ramps typically run $15,000 or more per stall, maybe $20,000 per stall. The cost is just so prohibitive that I
Okay.
can't imagine anybody would want to even touch it. But
Sure.
that's a novel idea. So.
Understand. How about from a housing standpoint in that downtown area? I know there are some developments we've talked about
Right.
that are going to bring some senior housing, but also some rental housing. How are those projects moving along, and when will those be added to the statistic list?
Sky Arbor Lakes has a permit in for
Okay.
a foundation permit, and that will be an unusual start of that project because they're going to do the parking ramp first, and then they'll add on the units to the
Interesting.
side of each parking ramp.
Okay.
And so I think I mentioned at the last show that people should not get too alarmed if they just see a parking structure going up.
Okay.
Don't think that we're doing just a parking ramp.
You added the parking ramp, but just in the wrong part of town.
Right. Yes, that's it. So we're going to see activity start on that.
Okay.
Silvercrest Properties, the city sold a 15-acre parcel to them, which is right across from Lifetime Fitness. We have finalized everything on the survey, everything in the purchase agreement, and so now I would expect that late summer, early fall, we'll start to see some earthwork there.
Great.
I don't know if we'll start any real construction of the units until maybe spring of 2014, but at least in later this summer or sometime in the first part of the fall, I think we'll start to see some at least earthwork going on.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and that'll be a nice project there. That's 2 phases. That's about 350 units. So that'll be very, very nice. FedEx received
Yes.
all their approvals for their project on the south side of Weaver Lake Road that is close to 300,000 square feet, office and distribution center. It's on a 35-acre parcel, and I think that we'll see, obviously this summer, we'll see construction start on that. So that'll be a very large project, which will probably take, I would think, well beyond 12 months for them to finish that, maybe 18 months.
Okay.
The inside of it is probably going to be quite similar to UPS, where you've got this massive distribution center on the inside.
Right.
And everything today is electronics, and so it'll be quite something on the inside to see how these packages are delivered. So.
Is this a relocation of existing building and jobs from another area in the metro?
It is.
Okay.
Currently, they have a smaller facility in Brooklyn Park, but this will be a far larger facility, and so there will be shifting of some of the Brooklyn Park jobs over to Maple Grove, but there also be new jobs that will be generated as well because of the size of this facility, much, much larger than the one in Brooklyn Park. So.
All right. Again, look at the council meeting coming up. How about a couple other items happening around town?
The Board of Review is coming up April 9th, and a Board of Review is an opportunity for folks to come to the City Council, and if they have concerns about their valuation, either it's too high, it's too low. Typically, people have a concern when their values are too low is when they're getting ready to sell.
Right.
Not when they're, not planning on selling. So the April 9 will be the Board Review where people can come and they can present their case to the City Council. And then we have a reconvene of the Board Review, and that's April 23rd. That's when the council makes the final decisions.
Okay.
The value of this property, the value of this property, right down the line. April 9th one is just the information is provided, then everything is taken under advisement. Our city assessing staff, does all their homework and then comes back with all the information for the April 23rd. So.
Past history shows you what as far as how many people might attend?
Well, past history, we've had somewhere between 10, 12, maybe 15. Many, many years ago, I think the numbers were running much higher. But I think most people now realize that if there's a drop in their value or an increase in their value, that it's not something unique just to Maple Grove. And so right now, I think the calls that have come in to our assessing department are relatively low. I think maybe around 80 or something like that. That sounds like a big number, but in the scheme of things, it's probably around about the same thing as last year.
Okay, very good. Beyond the Yellow Ribbon is something we've talked about on past programs, and looks like they might have some other activities coming up, and the group continues to be active.
It does. Their action plan, I believe, has been accepted by the state organization, which is very good news. They are putting together a concert, which would be held on a Wednesday during Maple Grove Days. Okay. Maple Grove Days typically starts with the parade on Thursday. Wednesday evening there will be a concert, which the Beyond the Yellow Ribbon folks are coordinating and putting that together. So people will see flyers scattered throughout town and businesses about this particular event. So they're an active group. They're doing a wonderful job of putting things together. So.
Concert to be held at Town Green?
Yes.
I would guess?
Yes,
okay, very
absolutely.
good. So watch for that on the schedules that are coming up. If people like trees, they might have a little work to do in town. You could use their help. Tell us about that.
We certainly could. We're going to be starting a tree inventory.
Okay.
We feel because of the emerald ash borer and other bad bugs out there, we need to get a good handle on the trees that we have in Maple Grove. Now, we have a lot of ash trees in Maple Grove, and so we need to get a handle on that. And so the tree inventory, if anybody's interested in doing some legwork and paperwork and going out and helping with the tree inventory, we would welcome that. Just contact City Hall or go to our website. You do not have to be a resident of Maple Grove if you want to get out and get some exercise and count trees and identify trees. So it's a big project, but it's a project that the Arbor Committee has talked about for quite some time, and I'm glad that we're finally doing it because it's a real necessity to get a good handle on species that we have. The emerald ash borer is inching its way. It's not in Maple Grove yet, but it's knocking on the door of some of the communities, and so.
All right, so if people are interested, can get a hold of the Government Center and find out ways to get involved. You can get involved in the remodeling fair coming up. In fact, as we're taping this program, it's just a couple days away. So for people watching early, you're going to benefit from this. For those that catch it later, you might have to put it on your calendar for next year. What is the remodeling fair, and why should Maple Grove residents take some time to stop by? Well,
I would encourage everybody to take time to stop by. It's an opportunity to visit with, I think there's about 85 exhibitors, and it's an opportunity if you're thinking about any kind of home remodeling, if you're thinking about putting on a new deck or adding a room to the house or interior or roofing or whatever the case may be. It's an opportunity to go to the remodeling fair at the Crystal Community Center on April 6th. I think it's from 9 to 3. I know Cable 12 will be there, as always. And visit with all kinds of vendors and pick up information, talk to them about their services. One thing I do every time when people start talking about getting a permit, make sure the permit is secured by the contractor, not the individual, not the resident, but by the contractor, because then that puts the burden on the contractor. So if there is a problem, we deal then with the contractor. So I always remind people that do not come in and get a permit yourself unless you're doing the work yourself and you're capable. But if you're contracting with a company, they should come in and secure the permit from the city.
Okay, very good. Another part of that fair in the past has been city representatives are there from some of the different departments, and there might be some people there from the code department, if you will, or for some of the departments that work with people working on remodeling projects, so you can get some of those questions answered. And for the kids, I know sometimes police, fire departments come and have some representatives there to entertain the kids and hand out a few cards as they walk in.
Entertain and educate. So
That's
it's a great opportunity. I think the Northwest Remodeling Fair, and I don't know how many years it's been going on, but it's a great opportunity for anybody that's thinking about doing any kind of a home improvement project.
All right, they have a website as well, nwremodelingfair.com, so you can check that out. A couple other things before we get to the council agenda.
Well, spring cleanup is coming, and information's on our website. But the cleanup day is Saturday, April 27, and people can bring things to our Public Works facility. Or we also have curbside pickup service, which would be Monday, April 22nd. So again, go to our website. All the details are there. It's been in the Osseo Maple Grove Press. I'm sure the Cable 12 will be certainly running it. So it's if you got anything that you need to get rid of, and I do, and so here's an opportunity.
You'll be first in line?
Yeah, here's an opportunity to get rid of some of the stuff. So.
What type of things do you normally see? Is there a normal item that seems to be in residents' way and they want to get rid of it?
Probably appliances, old air conditioners, or maybe old microwaves, or old refrigerators or stoves or things like that. Those are big items.
Right.
And if somebody does want a curbside pickup for those, there is an extra charge for that. If somebody has the means to get it over to us, that's fine.
Okay.
But those are typically, I think, what we see, or maybe a bicycle that is just, you just can't save it anymore,
Right.
and so they want to get rid of it, things like that.
Okay.
So
Very
it's
good.
a good opportunity just to everybody to go through their garage and go through the house, and I want to get rid of that. I want to get rid of this.
Great service offered by the city
It
of
is.
Maple Grove.
It is very much. The Ardwise site is open. That opened April 1st. The hours of operation are Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Sundays from noon to 7 p.m. That's been, I think, just a valuable service to residents and non-residents. In the springtime, they're going to be, raking up their lawns and trying to get everything fresh, and they need a place to get rid of the stuff. And the fall, especially because of the leaves. I mean, that place is just hopping.
Oh, yeah.
In the spring and spring, summer, and fall. So, the Ardway site is open for business.
And for people that are new to Maple Grove or maybe haven't used it before, it's in a little bit of a hidden area. So what's the best way for people to get there? What do you tell them if they call the government center and say, I can't find it?
Well, I would just say head to Fernbrook Lane over toward the Maple Grove Senior High, and you go past the Senior High, and before you get to County 81, you take a left. So if you go past the electrical substation and you get to 81, you've gone too far.
Right.
But just before the electrical substation, you take a left, and it's 101st, and that takes you right down to the Ardway site, which is on the right-hand side. So
Okay.
it's a big area. So.
Looks like it's in the middle of a farm field, but there all of a sudden it pops up.
That's
and
for
it
sure.
is, again, a great service and
Right.
information on the city's website to
Right.
find out the hours and what you can and cannot bring.
Right. One of the things that we talked about some time back was how does the weather impact crime?
Yes.
Now, there's not a lot of statistics out there, but we have found that when people, in the wintertime, if people are cooped inside, for an extended period of time, maybe because of a lot of snow, extremely cold weather, things like that, tempers tend to flare, domestics tend to rise a little bit. Same with summertime. If the heat gets 100 degrees or whatever the case, and it's a fairly consistent heat wave, that tends also to cause temperatures to rise. And temperature rises, temperatures rise.
Yeah, yeah.
And then also in wintertime, we've found that it's easier for the bad guys to conceal weapons because you got the heavy winter clothing on. And so it's much easier for criminals to conceal a weapon than it is in the summertime when we all obviously have less clothing on.
Right.
So.
I would guess another factor might be, and maybe an important thing to mention now, as spring and summer comes, a lot of people outside a little bit more and have that tendency to open up the garage door and do some things outside and maybe forget the garage door is open. And I know your police department has passed that message along.
Oh yes, that's an important thing, and I'm glad you mentioned that because we all have, I think, at times we'll forget. We'll maybe be out in the backyard working, garage door is open. We're not out in the front to see what's going on, and a lot of people, they leave their garage door open all night. They forget about it. They park their vehicles in the driveway and forget about locking them. They leave valuables in plain sight in the vehicles, and so you're right. Take real care on making sure that your garage door is closed. And again, especially if you're out in the backyard, working in the backyard, and your garage door is wide open, you're obviously not going to see what's going on in the front. So be very, very careful about that.
All right, some good tips. And again, if people want more information on some of those items, they can certainly call the police department. Council meeting now, again, 6 minutes long, so we've passed that up by a wide margin here, but we still have some time left. Tell us about some of the highlights at that last meeting.
We did formally approve the plan for Parnassus Private Charter School. They currently are in the Zachary Square Shopping Center, which is at the north part of the city. They have now are taking over an extra 25,000 square feet of that center. So now I think they'll have about 60,000 square feet of that center, and which is very good because that center has struggled over the years.
Right.
And I think that Parnassus location there has been a real benefit to that center.
Good.
So, so they got approval for another 25,000 square feet, and like I say, that brings them up to 60. And at some point in time, I wouldn't be surprised if they continue to move that square footage up even more.
So not really much of a change that people will notice from the outside,
No.
but this is just interior space that they're taking over and changing into classrooms, whatever they might need.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Just an interior. You won't see any real change to the exterior of the building, but interior, yes.
Right.
Want to thank Mary Howe. She recently retired. She's been in our building department for almost 20 years, and she's done a wonderful job for us, very dedicated, very conscientious, and she has decided to retire. So we wish her very, very well in her next career, and we thank her for everything that she has done for us. We did set a public hearing for a liquor license for Teresa's Mexican Restaurant. That will be located in the space that was formerly the Orient Buffet over along 93rd or County 30, across from the old Target facility.
Okay.
That at the next meeting we'll consider a liquor license for that business called Teresa's Mexican Restaurant. So we set the public hearing, and then 2 weeks from now we'll make it formal.
And they hoping to open soon, I would guess, after that?
I think it will. I don't think there's going to have to be a lot of improvements to the inside that are going to have to take place. There's some cosmetic things, but I don't think there's going to have to be a real extensive remodeling inside. So I think that probably within a couple of weeks, they'll probably be all set to go.
Very good.
So that was about it. We issued the asphalt permits. The operators in our gravel mining area have to get an annual mining permit, an asphalt permit, and so we issue those on an annual basis. And it was a quiet meeting. I think the next several meetings we do have a number of things that are coming to the Planning Commission, and so you can always judge the time frame of a council agenda by the time frame of a Planning Commission meeting, because they look at the things first. Then their recommendation goes to the City Council. So I think next meeting we'll have a couple more items to talk about.
Very good.
It's sometimes people may think that, gee, a 6-minute meeting, why even have a meeting? But formally need to have a meeting because there are a number of things that we have to adopt, and we try to adopt the non-controversial things on a consent agenda, so one motion takes care of everything. And in many cases, some of those items were looked at by the city council 2 weeks earlier, and then you just direct the city attorney to draft the formal items.
Right.
So one other thing I just want to mention is that Bass Lake Road project received national recognition, and
Fantastic.
for its creativity as well as the work that was done on it. So that's very, very nice that we got the national recognition for that. So.
Congratulations to the departments that worked on that. You mentioned the asphalt. I can't let you get away in the last minute here. That asphalt, probably the first batch, is going to the city and the county to fill potholes. A little bit of an interesting year, hasn't
gosh,
it been?
It has. In fact, before the meeting, we were talking about the condition of some of the roads, and some of them are public, city streets, and we can handle those in a heartbeat. Some of them are county, and so that takes a little bit longer. But yes, some of the roads have really gotten beaten up through this winter. And if anybody comes across a nasty pothole or even just a pothole, I think we have a hotline that they can call, or they can just call our Public Works Department and just say, okay, this is where a pothole is located.
Look for my car halfway in.
Halfway in, right. And then we'll go out and pull the car out and
Very good.
Fill the pothole, yeah. So, no, that's a good item to mention because the Minnesota winters are just so tough on our roads.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if it's a state highway or a county road or city street. It's tough.
All right, so if you see some, let the city know.
Let
that
us
you
know.
have to help
Absolutely
out.
right, yes.
Al, thanks again for your time.
Thank you,
Let's
Dave.
leave people with the next council meeting date and also some contact information. You see the website on the top of the screen. We mentioned a number of items that there's more information on the website, so make sure you head there. Next council meeting is going to be on Monday, April 15th, 7:30 at the Government Center. Also, if you need to call, there is the phone number for the Government Center as well. And if you have questions or comments about the program, 533-1710, our viewer response line. For Al Madsen, I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks for joining us on the Maple Grove City Report.